iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-Mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-Mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 11th day of April, 2017. Happy Tuesday. Big going on at the White House today. Business leaders. Man, there's a lot happening, but you know what we got to do? We got to cut over to Michael real quick because he's doing his Tuesday webinar at 1:15 today, where he goes over the partner trades and stuff that we don't typically do in the live training room. So we're going to get a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room, and then he'll skedaddle, and then I'll be back, and we'll talk about that chart that you were just looking at of the S&P 500, and hard to believe those were last week's zones, but the carryover effect in these quiet markets just seems to get stronger. So we'll talk about that and more. Michael, I've got your charts. It's all yours.
Okay.
Take it away.
Thank you. All right. That link that I just posted in there, that is to the Tuesday meeting. Okay, that's it. 1:15 p.m. Tuesday. Okay. All right. So let me get started here. Today is Tuesday, the 11th day of April 2017. Today in the live training room. Hang on. Let me do this first. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage here at CFRN.net. scroll down to where it says free 5-day trial, click on that. Then where it says start free trial, click on that, and fill out this little form. It's only got 4 slots in it. Okay, just fill out that little form, and you will be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, you don't know you took the trial. So make sure you click that. Okay. All right. Results. If you can read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures right down here at the very bottom. And today in the trading room, we had a green day, but barely. On the euro, we lost 8 ticks. On this was actually the NQ. We made 11. On gold, 5. That gave us a total of 55. We were, well, after 86 minutes and 9 opportunities, we're at 110, and we took a total of 12 opportunities today. Gross monthly profit 842.5. That's over 7 days, averaging 120 per day gross. Okay. On the year now, 10,541. That's over 68 days, averaging 155 per day gross. Okay. That's all that stuff. Now, let's get into what we did do here. Right. All right. So the gold was bouncing around quite a bit today. Right in here, we had a long opportunity. That was a break even. Then we had another long opportunity here. We got 1 tick. We missed one there. We missed one there. We got break even there and 4 ticks there to get us up to +5. Missed one there. Then, well, it sort of flattened out here during the break. There was a shorting opportunity right here because we put in a lower swing right there. Okay, so there was a shorting opportunity off the BBC right there for a few ticks. And now this dynamic support has been broken, so there was another shorting opportunity right here. Okay. And let's see what else we have here. On the euro was a mess this morning for a while. It didn't do anything for a while here, like the first hour. And then finally it moved, and on the first leg here, we got 8 ticks. Then we gave them right back right here, and we stopped out. So we're back to 0, and we missed that one, and then we stopped out again to put us at -8. So we went from +8 to -8. We missed an opportunity there, and just recently here, this leg down right here, and no, that's the trend line right now. Okay, so we want to see it close down below that trend line, right? Crude, nothing. We didn't do anything with crude today. We have crude inventories coming out tomorrow, and we have crude API numbers coming out this afternoon at 4:30. Okay. The NQ, now the NQ was bouncing all over the place this morning. I mean, it was going so fast, it was hard to keep up with it. You see that? Just crazy. But let's see here. We started out right here with a stop out on the NQ, -8 ticks. And then we got 4 ticks back right here, putting us to -4. Then 4 more here, putting us to 0. And we missed there, we missed there, we missed there, we missed there, and there, and there, and there. And right here we picked up 2 to put us at +2. You see how much it was jumping around. Now the ES was in and out of a zone here. It was back and forth between zones. We picked up 1 here to put us at +3 and 8 there to put us at +11 on the NQ today. And well, you can see it's been making legs up here, and it just put in a double top right here. The cycle's going down too steep to go long on that, but I had a 164 short right in here, and that was the NQ. Now the ES, like I said, the ES was bouncing between these couple of zones here. So it started out in a zone right here, and then worked its way down to this zone, and dropped through it, but came back up to it. The only spot that I really identified was this one right here, which would have been a break even. Let's see, during the break, there really wasn't anything here during the break that you could have done. Okay. Now, see this NQ. The NQ just put in a higher swing there. Okay. It needs to drag the cycle up. All right. So, I've given you the link to get into the meeting at 1:15.
I think it's going to be a full house too.
Good. That's good. All right, back here to the spreadsheet. And if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. I don't believe you hit the record button on this one, Tony. Today is the 11th day of April. We lost 8 ticks in the euro, made 11 ticks in the NQ, 5 ticks in gold. That's 55 gross on the day. And it took us 86 minutes and 9 opportunities to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're at 110, and we took 12 overall. So that puts us with a gross monthly profit of $842.50 over 7 days, averaging 120 per day. On the year now, 10,541. That's over 68 days, averaging 155 per day. 155 per day. Yet I don't think the record button has been struck.
I'm recording it with my other device. We're broadcasting live right now on YouTube, and then it will be automatically converted in a matter of minutes when we're done. And
Awesome.
I do normally record. I do normally hit this record button as well as a backup. In fact, if you can click, if you want to click the record. Oh no, you're shut because you're going to be shutting down.
I'm going to be leaving.
You can't. Yeah. Yeah.
I just noticed that it didn't say it's recording. That's all. It's just
yeah.
Yeah, John. We didn't have anything on the crude today. Nothing.
Yeah, I'll back up on the other computer over here. All right.
Okay.
So, but it says down at the bottom on my thing that we're streaming live. So.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Well, it's ready to be passed back to you. I think I went over this, but I didn't go over this. To take our free trial, go to the homepage at CFRN.net. Scroll down to where it says free 5-day trial. Click on that. Then where it says start free trial, no credit card required. Click on that. Fill out these 4 little slots. Once you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay. There. Now you can take it back out. Fabulous. Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay. No.
Overlooking America's largest city
park.
Ha! I got it.
You did good.
South Mountain.
Yeah, I did good.
It took me 10 years.
Recap of the recap.
86 minutes, 9 trades, $110.
Huh. Now, that's great. You got the goal.
I did.
That's the deal, guys. We only trade one contract in the live trading room, and our goal is to make $100 per contract per day in 10 trades or less. And as long as we do that, we teach you, once you enter the mentoring program, how to build your account size. Okay, I talked to someone yesterday who was they had come from another place, and they had lost a lot of money, and it really broke my heart. I said, you got to promise me you're going to come out of that live account and you're going to go into the simulator and you're going to learn our strategy. You're going to learn what we do and how we do it, and then you're going to apply those things. And you know what he said? He said, I don't know if I can do that. I go, why not? He said, well, I don't have much discipline. I said, oh, brother, please, come on. We can do this if we work together. But, I mean, I can't make you. I can't force you. And he said, all right, well, I'm going to try. So, I did and said everything I could think of, and all I can do now is just hope for the best. Hope that he follows through. I'm hoping I'll get an email or a phone call later today that says, hey man, thanks for talking some sense into me yesterday. I did the right thing. I got my demo, my simulator set up, and this time we're going to do it right. So, hopefully. All right, buddy. I'll catch you later.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
All right. Okay, I was going to tell you guys, look at this. Look at these zones, okay? These are last week's zones. Not this week, last week. Let's go back to the yellow arrow. That would be the Sunday night Globex Open. Went from zone to zone to zone to zone. Back down to the zone, back up to the zone, back down to the zone, and then we walked the line for many hours. Each one of those candles represents 30 minutes. And then what did we do? We dropped right down to the zone below, consolidated for an hour, and now we're making a comeback. Okay, it's just kind of like what happened yesterday. But the fact that the carryover effect of the zones has just, it's because of the quiet nature of the markets, but it's really quite a phenomenon to see. I mean, look at that. In all our years of the zones and everything that we do, I haven't seen stuff like that. By the way, if you're new and you can't see the chart I'm talking about, or any of the charts that Michael was talking about, you can watch a replay of today's radio show by going to emini.cfrn.net. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/CFRN. In fact, we're broadcasting. I need to remember to say hi to the YouTube audience every day. Hi, YouTube audience. I can't monitor this chat box and that chat box, so if you want to chat, you got to come log in through the GoToWebinar thing. Maybe someday I'll find somebody to manage the other chat box, or Micah can stick around, or I don't know. Maybe we'll find somebody. Let's see what the questions were in here. Pete says a person only needs enough discipline to create the habit. Hey, that's well said. Very good. Dwayne, I was listening to the Message Bible this morning in the background. I really like it. Have you listened to it much? Oh yeah, that's my favorite translation. In fact, if you listen to CFRN radio, you'll hear the entire translation. Not all at once back to back, but different contemporary Christian artists have chosen to read different chapters. And so you'll hear Romans read by somebody, and then you'll hear Colossians read by somebody else. And yeah, true story. True story. Okay, so as I was saying, if you can't see the charts, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right hand side of the page, click the big microphone where it says watch live now. Click there. You only have to do this once a month, because if you do it today, then tomorrow you'll get an email an hour before the show starts, and it'll say whenever you're ready to join the show, click here. Obviously, you can't join the show before it starts, but you can click the button, and I think they put you in the holding pen or something until the show starts. So, it is a show of indeterminate length about all things Emini, and we have a tendency to start a little bit late some days. We apologize for that. Maybe someday we'll do better. Thank you, John. For those of you who John shared a link, so I'll share it with you guys. Some people are very turned off by the message translation. Signal all. There we go. Yeah. So if you're turned off by it, then don't listen to it. That's all I can say. We had a lady freak out in church one Sunday morning. She was a very studious type. She had books and Bibles, and she's taking notes. And I led the opening prayer, and I said, I'm going to read it from the Message translation. I know that'll probably freak somebody out. I had no idea. Because about middle ways through the sermon, the pastor started quoting from the Message translation, and this lady kind of came unglued, and security had to lovingly escort her into the foyer where they prayed for her. They didn't beat her up or mace her or drag her kicking and screaming like that poor guy on the airplane. You guys see that? What? I mean, I think I'm going to take the bus the next time I go somewhere. I don't think I want to be. See, what freaks a lot of people out is in their head, because of the way they were raised, they think of Jesus and Paul and all the fishermen, you know, saying things like thee and thou, and I'm sorry. Jesus and the disciples did not speak in King's English, okay? That came much later in history. They talked, they probably grunted a lot, you know? I mean, they had a language, and I'm sure that the guys with the robes and the tassels and the Sanhedrin and all those guys, I'm sure they were very eloquent and elegant in the language they spoke. But when you tell somebody who was raised on the King James Version that Jesus never said thee or thou, they might go zombie apple. Oh, I can't even say it. Apocalyptic on you. So be careful. Oh, man. Okay, so I told you how to see the screen. So now everybody knows how to see the charts. So we could marvel over this all day, or we could take a look at the numbers. I think we'll take a look at the numbers from around the world. I don't know what time John's going to join us today. Maybe if I sent him an email. That's what I'll do. By golly. Oh, and I got to keep it short today, guys, because I've got a couple meetings this afternoon. Not my normal mentoring session meetings, but I got some other stuff I got to do. So I apologize, but just got to keep it short. So I'll see if I can get John in here now. Come on. Okay, I did it. I managed to send an email. I'm on fire. All right. We're going to start with the cash markets. Yes, this is a show about all things E-mini. That's why we like to confuse you up front and talk cash. The Dow cash market is down 36 points. NASDAQ is down 24 points. S&P 500 is down 8 points. The only green in the U.S. markets is the Russell, which is up almost 2 points. Pretty quiet. Now, turning to the commodity basket, crude oil is down 8 cents. Gold, oh, shine on, shine on. Up $17.40, trading $12.71.30. Strike up the band. All right. Moving on to the Asian markets. The Nikkei closed down 50 points. Shanghai closed up 18 points. And the Hang Seng closed down 173 points. Now that's 0.75%. The Shanghai up 18. That's half of 1%. Okay? Put things in perspective for you. And European markets, the FTSE closed up 16 points. The DAX closed down 61. And the CAC closed down 5.5. Okay. All right. So those are the numbers. I mean, Europe got one green market, the FTSE. Asia's got one green market, the Shanghai. And the U.S. has got one green market, the Russell. Everything else is very, very red. And except gold. It's shining. It's so bright. Oh, did I mention to you guys that back in December, I told you about my number one stock pick of the year? This is a show about futures, so we don't talk about stocks a lot. John does occasionally, but I did tell you guys in December, I leaked it, and I made the research report available. We're up 150%. Is that right? It tripled. Yeah, I guess that's 150%. Anyway, for those of you that might not have been around back then, I think there's still room on the upside. So if you want my number one stock pick for 2017, send an email to gold@cfrn.net, and I'll be happy to send you a 150-page research report. Now remember, this was done the end of last year, and a lot's happened and a lot's changed and a lot's going on since then. But again, 150-page research report. I believe there's plenty of upside still. I mean, we did good. I mean, we had a triple from the time I brought it to your attention. But send me an email. I'll send you the report. Fair enough? Fair enough. Okay. Now, what are we going to talk about? I know. I got a few things here you need to know. Hey, oh, by the way, you know, this machine learning and this artificial intelligence, I read an article today. I'm not going to read it to you, but it's pretty freaky. They did a study at a hospital where they fed in the data of 700,000 patients? I think it was, yeah. And this computer was then able to look at a person's medical records and spot things like cancer before the doctors could detect it, schizophrenia before it showed up. Sometimes doctors can't even diagnose schizophrenia after it shows up. I mean, this is... I'll find you a link to the article. It's too lengthy. But they're trying to figure out... See, they don't know how the machines they've built do it because the machines program themselves. Huh. I'm telling you, when people like Elon Musk are a little bit worried, and guys like Bill Gates are a little bit worried, I think you and I should probably be a little bit concerned. Now, this business with the U.S. and Korea and Russia, pray for our country. Pray for our men and women in uniform, because this thing could get messy real quick. So, pray. If you're too old to sign up, pray. If you're young enough to sign up, well, that's up to you. All right, Google DeepMind is about to take on the world's #1 Go player. Kijai will take on DeepMind in 3 games of classical Go during the Future of Go Summit in China next month. Now, Go is, if you don't know what Go is, it's probably the oldest game known to man. And I've been told it's like 100 times more complex than chess. I don't know if that's true because I don't play chess. I play a mean game of checkers, but China's Lieco scrapped its $2 billion deal with Vizio because of regulatory headwinds. The Chinese tech company has made a collaboration agreement with the U.S. brand, though. Magic Leap purchased a startup founded by former Apple employees and looked into buying an Oscar-winning animation studio. Magic Leap acquired Texas-based Fuzzy Cube Software and considered buying Moonbot Studios. Keep your eye on Magic Leap. Okay? Qualcomm fired back at Apple yesterday after it was accused of overcharging. Qualcomm has launched its own countersuit in which it says that Apple breached agreements and encouraged government agencies to investigate Qualcomm. Teens are dropping smaller social networks in favor of Snapchat and Instagram. Apps like Kik and Tumblr are losing market share. Now, I played with Snapchat once. You know, I didn't get it, I guess. Instagram, to the best of my knowledge, it's a photo sharing app, and you can like put cool filters on your pictures. But I'm hearing tales of companies building million-dollar businesses by simply being active on Instagram. I'm going to have to get to the bottom of this. I may be doing things the hard way. Snapchat with 81% adoption and Instagram with 79% are the leading platforms for teens between the age of 14 and 18. Facebook and Twitter are behind with 51 and 56% respectively. So I guess on the Instagram you can do more than just send pictures. I guess you can toot or tweet or whatever. One of the analysts over at Piper Jaffray said, "We believe this supports the notion that Snapchat and Instagram are continuing to be used differently by teens who have carved out a separate use case for each." I mentioned this yesterday. I'm going to mention it again today. If you have a teenager, whether it's in your home or it's your grandchild or it's your neighbor's child or it's a kid at church, if they seem moody, if they seem depressed, I'm going to encourage you, not them, to watch on Netflix a new edition. It's called 13 Reasons. Really well done. Now, this is a Netflix original, and once you sit through all, it's called 13 Reasons, but I think there's only 11 episodes. They're about 45 minutes each. Anyway, at the very end, all the kids in the movie sit around and talk in the very final episode, and they talk about the emotions they felt as they were filming this, and this is about a life lost, and just, you're going to figure that out pretty quick up front. But we had a young man who went to our church, and no one knew there was anything wrong. He had always been kind of a quiet fellow, sort of kept to himself, and all of a sudden one day the email came and he was gone. And everybody's looking at each other baffled, like, what? I mean, there were no real outward signs. So you owe it to the young people in your life. And it just crossed my mind again. I probably won't bring it up again. I brought it up 2 days in a row. So Netflix, 13 Reasons. All right. I'm not trying to depress you. I'm trying to save a life here. Okay. While the 4 leading platforms have been hovering around the same numbers for the past 2 years, a bigger difference can be seen with more niche social networks like Kick or Tumblr. Between spring 2016 and spring 2017, Kick saw a drop of 14% in usage down to 13%. Tumblr dropped to the same level. In an interview with Recode in September, Kick CEO said his company had seen a slowdown in growth, which he attributed to the app slowdown. Yik Yak is another app that saw a significant dip in popularity that put the app at risk of failure. I don't know if you've been to the App Store lately, but I mean, what a disorganized mess. And there's so many probably great apps out there, but how are you going to find them? Podcasts, same thing. Okay, if you drill down on the what's hot list and you go to business and then you go to the subcategory investing, because they don't have trading, we're like number 25. Go figure. But you'd never know that just coming in the front door. So I had to tell you. Sufreen says life insurance companies will be all over that AI, artificial intelligence. You're absolutely right. They absolutely will. Very good point. But what Elon and Gates are concerned is, these deep learning machines, they can already program themselves. What they're concerned about is what happens when they become aware of themselves. Now, some people are saying that can't happen. But Rocket Man, oh no, that's Bezos. I think Bezos is in on this too. Actually, they call him Rocket Boy. But anyway, they're concerned. I mean, they're developing this stuff, but they have their concerns. They formed a foundation to supposedly watch it from a position of not letting it get out of hand. Because once the machines become aware of themselves, we're toast. That's what they say. Google's next Pixel phone might have a curved screen. Why? Google has reportedly offered to invest at least $880 million in LG's display division so that it gets a steady supply of flexible OLED screens. Okay. Flexible as in maybe it doesn't break so easy. I got you. Foxconn might spend $27 billion to buy Toshiba's chip business. Toshiba is looking to sell its chip business to make up for a write-down of its U.S. nuclear business. If I could get rid of that echo, that would be great. Web inventor Sir Tim Berners-Lee asked on stage in London yesterday whether Twitter is a net good for the planet. Web inventor? He said that nasty ideas spread more quickly than positive posts on the social network. We got way too much time on our hands. PewDiePie has a new show, but it's not on YouTube. Remember? This is the foul-mouthed young man I told you guys about who said some very... Well, number one, his profanities. It'll curl your hair. But it was the anti-Semitic comments he made that got him booted. And this guy is making millions of dollars a year just being stupid in front of a video camera on YouTube. But because YouTube pulled his big check and all of his sponsors stepped aside and says, we don't want anything to do with this guy, he has launched a new show on Amazon-owned Twitch. Now, if you don't know about Twitch, let me tell you. You can go to Twitch. It's an app you can download for your phone. I don't know if they have an actual website or not, but you put the app on your phone, and when you go there, there will be probably 100,000 people on the site. And you know what they're doing? They're watching people play video games. Yep. If you want to go on there and play a video game, you can too. All you got to do is get yourself a camera and a microphone, point it at yourself, smoke a lot of cigarettes. Oh no, I don't think there's no smoking allowed. And they got a couple of rules, but so whatever the hot new video games are, I don't know because I don't play video games. Last video game I played was Ms. Pac-Man. That's how old I am. But these really intense, one shooter or whatever they call them, multiplayer, whatever. It's like a split screen. You see the person who's playing the game and they're talking and chatting just like I chat with you guys in the chat box. And the other side of the screen is them playing the game, and they're really good at the game, and people want to watch them play the game so that they can get good at playing the game. But some of these rooms, there'll be like, 1,000 people watching some guy play a video game and talk to himself and talk to his audience while he plays the video game. You think I'm making this up? Twitch. Google it. TWITCH, which is also the name of a guy who won So You Think You Can Dance second season. All right. Enough of that. Twitter shareholders will vote on turning the company into a cooperative owned by its users. If the vote passes, the company will have to prepare a report on the feasibility of the radical restructuring. Huh. How does that even work? A publicly traded company turns into a cooperative owned by its users. I guess we're going to have to look under the hood here. How does this work? On May 22nd, Twitter shareholders will vote on whether to investigate a radical proposal, turning the social network into a cooperative owned by its users. Next month is the company's annual meeting, and one of the items on the agenda calls for it to look into becoming a cooperative. The proposal to be voted on by shareholders asks the company to prepare a report on the nature and feasibility of selling the platform to its users via a cooperative or similar structure with broad-based ownership and accountability mechanisms. Twitter is opposed to the plan, and it seems unlikely to win the vote, but it's an interesting proposal and underlines the discontent some shareholders feel with the ailing social network, which is struggling to grow or turn a profit. The idea draws on a petition calling for a co-op structure that has been signed by nearly 3,500 people. The petition contrasts the social network's global reach and influence with the gloomy forecasts about its financial performance, arguing that its conventional structure means its social value isn't being properly appreciated. For a lot of us, Twitter is the fastest, easiest way to know and share what's going on around us. It is, I think. It sparks conversation, spreads information, and energizes movements. But Wall Street thinks the company's a failure because it's not raking in enough profit for shareholders. That means Twitter's up for sale. And there's a real risk that the new owner may ruin our beloved platform with a narrow pursuit of profit or political gains. A cooperative structure could, the proposal on the annual meeting's agenda says, result in a new and reliable revenue stream, since we, as users, could buy in as co-owners with a stake in the platform's success. Without the short-term pressure of the stock markets, we can realize Twitter's potential value, which the current business model has struggled to do for many years. We could set more transparent, accountable rules for handling abuse. We could reopen the platform's data to spur innovation. Overall, we'd all be invested in Twitter's success and sustainability. Such a conversion could also ensure a fairer return for the company's existing investors than other options. The Twitter proposal cites a number of examples of cooperatives as evidence it could work. Successful enterprises like the Green Bay Packers, really, REI, and the Associated Press. Who knew? Their popularity, resilience, and profitability is a result of their ownership structure. Examples of online companies include successful startups like Managed by Q, which allocates equity to office cleaners, and Stocks United, a stock photo platform owned by its photographers. John, is that you?
It is indeed. Thanks. How are you?
Welcome to the show.
Thanks. I just talked to Leslie briefly, and she's like I am. Both of the two of us are very impressed with the action in the gold. It's exactly what we thought would happen yesterday. And in fact, I started as the day was going on. I was talking to people that I was expecting a pretty big upward spike in gold, and
Look
I
at
actually
that.
believe this could be
Goodness. I'm showing everybody the chart right now.
Yeah, I actually believe that we could have a super spike to the upside from here.
Define super spike.
I mean,
how big is that?
Well, look, we're getting down to the French elections. We're only 10 days away now, so it looks like this isn't the final deal, but it is probably going to show Marine Le Pen as the number one candidate out there, and since she's talking about taking France out of the Euro zone, you could get a kind of a Brexit type reaction, possibly over the Easter weekend, that that could spike gold up $50 to $100 higher, and certainly up towards 1340 to 1350, and the fact that we're just about going through, we're almost to the 1275 level now, attaining the 1275 level and closing anywhere around here or higher is really very bullish for the metal.
Our call last night was to buy 1259.
No, great call, and a fantastic day for you. Well done. And if you remember yesterday, my words were, if we close down, remember this Monday close, we basically, although the cash indices closed up on the day, fractionally higher yesterday, the fact that we sold off from an 80 point gain in the morning on the Dow and a much bigger gain on the S&P was basically a negative close, and the futures actually closed down or started trading down last night. In fact, I almost called you because I had a feeling, and if you remember, I said I'd short the market if this happened.
Mm-hmm.
We did that, but we covered. We were in the VIXs, and we got out of the VIXs this morning right at the high. The UVs around about 20.7, 20.8, and we're out of those now, because I think it was an interesting, somewhere I saw a report, where the choice for Russia, it's either the U.S. or Syria or Assad. Well, I mean, who is Russia going to choose? They're not going to side with a third-rate, war criminal country or leader, if you like, over the U.S. So it's a pretty good, good kind of a.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry. So that was a pretty good kind of a choice.
Yeah.
A very clever way of delivering a choice to them to get the program.
I agree. I agree.
And get with the rest of the world.
What I'd started before I interrupted you, I apologize. Last night on Tucker Carlson, he had Pierce. What's that guy's name? The British guy, Pierce.
Oh, right. Pierce Morgan.
Morgan. Yeah. Right. He's the editor at large, is how they called him, of the Daily Mail.
Of the Daily Mail, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he was going on about what happened in this church, where this church is important because the Coptic Pope was there, and of course Easter Sunday's coming, and ISIS has said this is a war on the cross, and Pierce was like, why is nobody talking about this? Why isn't this on the front page of every American newspaper and every British newspaper?
I was thinking the same thing. It kind of got left to the back pages. It was kind of a disgrace, actually, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pierce was very upset. Pierce said, "I'm Catholic." He said, and this guy, I mean, these guys, ISIS, they said this is a war on the cross, and we're coming to get you. We're killing Christians, as many as we can get our hands on. 45 just died in Egypt. He was 45. So he was really worked up last time.
Yeah, just going back to the markets for a second, our selling of the UVs this morning was a buy signal on the market, and the market is now rebounding very strongly because Tillerson who's a master negotiator in my view, has probably closed the deal with the Russians, and the market is reflecting that. And the gold might, in spite of the rally we've got to be a little bit careful because we're not. So far, we haven't hit the 1275 level as far as I can see. And secondly, the silver has been underperforming to some extent versus the gold, which is also something to be careful of. So while it's a good day so far in the metals, it's not. The metals could come off. They could not. There's a bunch of commercial shorts here who are doing everything in their power to get the metals down, and that's something that you've got to be aware of all the time.
Do you think Trump's going to do something about that situation?
I do, yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, look, there's so much nonsense being exposed now. I forget what. Yeah, the SEC just has gone all. They're all out over this essay. What's that website called?
Seeking Alpha.
Yeah. Apparently, these people they've nailed a whole bunch of people who were paid writers, for manipulating stocks.
Well, I'm a paid writer on Seeking Alpha, but I don't ever write about stocks. I write about futures.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, this was something that back in 2010 or 11.
Wow.
And some other outfit was. I haven't read the article yet. I'll send it to you when I have it.
Yeah, this is the first time I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of these short sellers was trying to artificially negotiate was trying to artificially manipulate, some stock, that they were saying was a perennial short. Same kind of thing with that guy did with the health company, with that health what's called the multi-level deal, where he was trying to manipulate the stock down, and he basically lost out in a huge amount of money.
The guy that was short Herbalife.
Yeah, Herbalife, right.
Was it Ackman? Was that his name?
Deal. Ackman, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, he lost so much of his shareholders' money.
Well, look,
he traded that thing like he had something personal against that company, like they ripped off his mother or something. He did not trade it like an intelligent money manager. He was very vindictive. It was I've never seen.
If I'd been his advisor, he could have made out like a bandit because he got it right the first time. He went short around $60 or so, and it crashed down to about 20, and this was a couple of years ago, and he should have covered his shorts. I mean,
he should have.
He had a massive profit.
Well, and he said, "I'm taking it." He said, "I'm taking it to zero." Well,
yeah, exactly, and and that's when they really started destroying him. And then he had that other allergen deal, or the one that that was part of that, and it ran up to the 270 or something. I mean, when a stock gets up to $270 a share, you need to be thinking about selling. Certainly taking some off the table, and you don't let a situation like that get out of control. It's down to about $10 right now. So, I mean, he's lost an absolute fortune doing that. And I mean, this is why you and I are where we are today, because I swore, I think I told you this long time ago, 10 years ago, that I'm not, I don't want to be making the same mistakes as Bob Prechter made in the 90s when he was, perennially bearish on the market, during the biggest up move in of all time. Mm-hmm. And I've said it on this show. How can 6 highly intelligent people, very successful traders and great analysts at that, Prechter did something like what I did, when I made 12,000 in 3 months, 12,000% in 3 months trading OEX options. He made about 8,000% in the same period. And I know Bob quite well. I've met him a number of times, but I always have a lot of high regard for he's a great analyst. But after the '87 crash, he was totally bearish. I mean, he was perennially bearish on the market for the next 13 years, pretty much. And so was Joe Granville, Ross Perot, Michael Metz, Gail Dudak. Gail Dudak's a great analyst. And all these people, I mean, the market was closing higher every single year, and yet they were bearish. And, one of the reasons why they were bearish, I might point out, is because back in the 90s, the advanced decline line was not performing like it has in the last few years, where the advanced decline line has been leading this rally since 2012 in a way that is, been reading it really since 2009, in a way that never happened before in history. So that's why I still say that we're in the greatest bull market of all time, and nobody's called that recently, because this market's been climbing a wall of worry since 2009, and it continues to do so. Look at this rebound that's going on right before our eyes today. We had a kind of we had a short. I mean, the mid cap's already positive. The TNA has gone positive, and you know how I place so much importance on these early indicators. They're positive on the day, and the market's down. What does that tell you? Be careful, because don't get too bearish, because this market looks like it's going back higher. The global index is turning back up very sharply. So these are right now, when you get a kind of a situation where the market's being knocked down on a fear factor type thing, and that fear factor is removed or ameliorated to some extent, the opposite response can be very, very dramatic indeed. And this market is itching to break out to the upside and go higher. In fact, somebody mentioned that if you take a look at the chart of Tesla, they're talking about Tesla possibly breaking out into a whole new big upside rally. And, one of the reasons why Tesla, we talked about this company a month or two ago when it was almost ran out of money. Well, they got the money, and look at the response from the stock since. And one of the reasons for that is Tesla gets a lot of benefit from the SpaceX success. It's almost like SpaceX is part of Tesla. So when they have a successful rocket launch, and let's face it, SpaceX is nobody in the world, not one government, not the Russians, the Chinese, the Indians, or anybody else can have a booster, the booster stage rocket come back to Earth and land, like the Flintstones or whatever, whatever those movies were in the past,
Right.
It's absolutely astonishing that the way they do it, and what's amazing, and you and I talked about this about a week ago, is when you see the Blue Origin, when it goes up to the edge of space, and it gets to several thousand miles an hour, and then it sort of stalls out to zero, and then it starts going down and accelerating down. It goes to about 2,500 miles an hour on the way down, right? So hurtling towards the Earth, and then it suddenly starts decelerating, like inside of a mile, about as you sort of get down to the last kilometer, or you get down to that last period just before it lands. It decelerates at a staggering rate, where it just comes down, basically hits the ground, and it comes down to zero. It's astonishing when you think of the. I mean, it's not like 120 miles an hour gravity. It's like an accelerated downdraft of monumental proportions from space when this rocket comes back to Earth. And also Bezos should get a lot of kudos for the fact that he's actually successfully tested an escape vehicle where something went wrong with a launch, barring an absolute explosion, that the astronauts can actually be rescued and can come back to Earth safely. That's a first. That's never been done before. So the progress that's going on in this space realm is amazing, and we're really probably only about a year away now from the first space flights, you know, with people actually going up on possibly on all three, you know, on maybe even four of them. You know, the Virgin, the SpaceX or Blue Origin, and the other one that has that little kind of mini space shuttle type deal. I forget the name of it now, but and maybe Boeing as well. You know, so there's about a half a dozen contenders who are at the threshold of making, you know, of opening up the world of space to everybody and making it commercially successful. So it's, you know, all of these things it's all part of the technological revolution that's going on, including the biggest deal of all, which is hypersonic transport, which is the next big thing that's coming. I mean, you know, it's going to be, you know, huge. The day, you know, within 10 years, it'll be possible to fly from London to Sydney in about 4 hours, I would say. It's coming, you know. That's going to be a massive game changer for the world, and because it's going to introduce a whole. It's kind of like internet speed. You know, if you can get a gig in it, you know, while you know, maybe a few years ago, a giganet seemed like a gig of speed seemed like you know, who would need it? Now you need it because there's so many things attached to what we're doing online, and it's like, you know, everybody wants it, or they're certainly going to. I mean, in a few years, you know, hundreds of megabytes will be the norm, and a gig might be the premium. But before too long, a gig at some point in the future, a gig is going to be the norm. And the same thing with hypersonic transport. You know, once it comes, the next generation of planes is going to be coming off the production lines, and you know, there's going to be tens of thousands of planes. You know, new planes. All the old planes will become obsolete. So that's going to drive a massive wave of new growth in the world, just the same as the automation of cars is going to do very soon, and other things like jetpacks and you know, drones, larger drones, and things like that. I mean, all of this stuff is coming, and it's a great time to be alive to see it.
It really is. And I was reading an article this morning. I already talked to the audience about it. This deep machine learning, where these computers are programming themselves, at a hospital, they fed in the data from something like 700,000 patients from many years, and this computer took the data, programmed itself, and it was able to spot cancer in people before the doctors could. It could even spot things like schizophrenia, which sometimes doctors can't even diagnose. The problem is, because the computer programmed itself, the people who built the computer don't know how it did it. I'll forward you the article. It's really quite fascinating. And that's why Elon Musk and Gates, and I think Bezos is in with them, and this they formed a nonprofit to make sure that artificial intelligence doesn't get out of hand. Did we lose you? Apparently we did. Okay. All right. Well, I got to get through this quickly anyway. Okay. I already explained that to you. Gotta go. Seeking Alpha tries to ensure that research published on its popular investing website is unbiased by requiring writers to disclose whether they've been paid for touting stocks. But U.S. regulators say there's an easy workaround. It's called lying. On Monday, the Securities and Exchange Commission sued 27 individuals and companies for their involvement in hundreds of conflicted articles that appeared on Seeking Alpha and other sites. The authors checked a box that said they hadn't been compensated, concealing the payments they'd received from stock promoters. John, that you? The SEC said in a statement, to hide their identities, writers used multiple pseudonyms, even creating separate personas who claimed to have 20 years of investing experience. At one promotion company, writers even signed a contract forbidding them from disclosing their compensation. Seeking Alpha was not accused of any wrongdoing. These companies, promoters, and writers allegedly misled investors by disguising paid promotions as objective and independent analysis. $3 million settlement. The SEC brought enforcement against 3 companies, 7 firms involved in promoting stocks, 2 corporate chief executive officers, 9 article writers, and 6 other individuals. The regulator has agreed to some settlements, with one individual accused of violating securities laws paying almost $3 million. The alleged improper conduct ended in 2014. According to the SEC, in 2012, Seeking Alpha barred the publication of articles for which writers had received compensation, according to the SEC. Promoting stocks is a hallmark of pump and dump schemes. The scam typically involves insiders buying shares for fractions of a cent, blasting out positive investment analysis to increase prices, and then cashing in by selling shares. That and naked shorting is one of the reasons I left the world of equities for the world of futures. That kind of garbage doesn't happen in the world of futures. Okay, real quick, we're going to run through these Concierge Trade Alerts. S&P 500, we said to sell 2346. I'm sorry. Yeah, we said sell 2346. And the alert went out last night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I was trying to get it out earlier, but, sometimes life happens. So, 2346 down to 23 from 46. What do we got here? 46 minus 34. Yeah, so that's 12 points. Points, or $600 per contract available. Now, we never get out at the exact swing high or the exact swing low because we trail our stop, which means we're always going to leave a little something on the table. Okay? Sometimes you leave a lot on the table. Depends on how closely you trail your stop. But you sure wouldn't want to give all that back. That's why we trail the stop, and that's why it doesn't bother us to leave some on the table. I mean, right here, if that wasn't a heads up inside this zone that this thing was getting ready to turn, you should probably go through our mentoring program. Just saying. All right, let's look at the Dow. On the Dow, we said to sell 575. $575. There we go. Now, let's stretch this over. And I said 830, so that's going to be 2030. So that's going to be that green candle right there. Okay. sell 20575. Okay, and we dropped to a low of 448. So 575 minus 448, 127 points. That's what the market made available. Again, as the market starts to climb, guess what? You get stopped out with profit. Capiche? Oh, look at them beans. Go beans, go. All right. Soybeans. Sell 935. Ho ho ho! All that sell off, and oh, was there some kind of today was WASD. So we're not even going to count that. I mean, you can count this, but the WASD is a huge economic report, and we teach all of our students not to trade ahead of, if it's an economic report that is considered high volatility, even moderate volatility, we'll let it go. Now, that's not a big spike for a WASD report. I mean, I've seen some whoppers. That's really, it's about 6 cents. So, not a big deal, but not one that we're going to now, what was the buy side? 944. Okay. If you bought 944, we only got up to a high of 945, so you probably got stopped out if you went long the beans last night. I mean, you could have taken a point, but if you're trading the alerts, you're typically looking for more than a point. So let's call it a stop out. And this one, no go because of the agricultural report that I thought it came out on the 12th of the month, but I guess it's around the 12th. But I'm sure that must be what that was. Okay. Moving right along. Mike says, thanks. Do you feel the market might have a healthier correction than after the tax reform? The market goes up big like John is talking about. You know, I really don't know, Mike. I think the market's been I think the market is due for one heck of a healthy retracement. Now, markets sell off faster than they rally, and so how long will it take to recapture what is lost in this big healthy correction? I don't know. And so I don't get into forecasting, into the future. I'm not a prophet. I just trade what's right in front of me. Okay? If price goes here, I'm going to do this, and if price goes here, I'm going to do that. I mean, And that's about as far as I go. So I wish I could give you a better answer than that, but I'd rather give you an honest answer than anything else. So, crude oil. Now, yesterday I went ahead and gave out one of the weekly trading zones because price had just hit it, then it was playing around with it, and it came back to test it again and again and again and again. QA. What was the next? That was 90.95. What's next overhead? Well, we ain't got there yet, I'll tell you that. Okay. So 2030, right there. Okay. On crude, we said to consider selling 52.80, which that didn't happen until way over here. And that was good for all of a dime. And on the buy side, 53.80. Which we have not gotten close to. So, quiet day for crude. We usually do really just, well, it's a flat day. Not a magician. Bonds. Giddy up. Alright. 2030. Right there. Okay. On bonds, last night's email said consider buying 152.10. Okay. This is why we use stops. Buy 152.10. Now, if you've had the training, you know where to put your stop so you get stopped out. But then you get another opportunity. Okay. So this side's a stop. And this one ran up to 153.04. 153.04. That's six ticks shy of $1,000 per contract. So if there's 32 ticks to a point, minus 6, that would be 16. I'm sorry, 26. 26 times 31.25 equals, so that was $812.50. Per contract available. And important prices, important areas are almost always tested. It just got tested again, and this time it ran up to 152.19. So there's another 9 right there. Okay. Is that everything? No. No, it's not. We got our Russell data back last night. And on the Russell, we're looking to be buyers at 68 and sellers at 63. Here's 68. And 63. It is. There's 63. So a little on the downside. What did we get down to? 59.40. It's about 150 bucks here. And get up to 74. And we were looking at 68 to 74. So that's about $300 per contract available. Okay. The only thing left is gold, which we already looked at, but we'll look at it again because it looked really nice. And the alert went out right there. Sweet. Okay. That's why I had to keep it short today because I got a meeting I got to go to, and we are going to go to our good word for the day. We're going to wrap things up on that note. Unless there's any questions. Now, believe it or not, God is at work in your circumstances right now. You may not see Him, you may not feel Him. He's there. It's a true story. His power is at work within us to carry out His purpose. How do I know God's at work in my life? Because He created you for a purpose, and so He's always going to be meddling. John Walker writes, "We manage time, waste time, spend time, and save time. We wish it would come. We wish it would pass. We see time fly. We feel it drag. We watch clocks and carry calendars. Yet God alone controls time. He created time. And His creations aren't fenced by His time, directed and guided. They are fenced by His time, directed and guided by His loving hand. We're surprised by unexpected developments, but God is never surprised by even the most disastrous turn of events. And your outlook on life changes dramatically when you know that at this very moment, right here, right now, God is working within you to carry out His purpose. Might not be your purpose, His purpose. Think about how you'd live if you were absolutely certain God was at the end of your deadline. That even if there were mere seconds left, you believed with certainty He was working through your circumstances. Believing God is there and about to provide is the essence of faith. Hebrews 13:8 sums it up. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And that's our good word for the day. All right. If you're on the trial, you should be getting an email today that tells you what it takes to become a partner so you can enter into the 90-day mentoring program. If you have not got said email, you can always send an email to support@cfrn.net. We'll get you out the information. You can call 949-42-EMINI. 949-42-EMINI. Michael's in a webinar right now, but leave a message. See, that's the deal. Leave a message and somebody will call you back. Michael or I, one of us. All right? Okay, that's going to do it, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.